So while I'm setting it up, Andy, why don't you give us a real quick kind of description about what the game is, what you do on it, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so we're making this game because I love real-time strategy games, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be exhausted while playing them. So we're making this game that we like to describe as like the Mario Kart of real-time strategy. Anyone can sit down and play it, but it still has the depth of a real-time strategy game. Super short sessions. The game world's kind of fun. It's fun and dark at the same time. The idea here is that it's revolution in the animal world. And all the animals have decided that meat is the thing. They all want to eat meat, and no one wants to have to be the meat. So you're fighting over who is going to eat and who is going to be dinner. And you play as a rat commander, one of 4 different rat commanders. And you can play this game on a controller. You can play it on keyboard, mouse. And it's super, super simple to play, and but really sort of focuses the game on the strategy and the tactics. We've really sort of boiled down the whole concept of real-time strategy and then rebuilt it around the idea of how do we make this game actually fun to physically play. Not mentally play, but actually physically playing this game and making it fun. So you guys are actually playing split screen here. You can play online. There's also ranked, and there's a single player campaign. And I'm gonna put on headphones too.
And also to our tech guy, Anthony, if you need us to adjust the volume either way, up and down, just let me know. And people in chat, let him know as well.
Yeah, you will notice, by the way, music by Austin Winnery, who did...
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he's a
Nice.
good friend, and hopefully we'll work together on every project we ever work on. He's the guy who did Assassin's Creed Syndicate. He was nominated for a Grammy for Journey.
Yeah.
He did Monaco. He has an incredible range, and he likes to do crazy stuff. So... we really enjoy working together because I let him off the leash, and typically, if you are typically when he gets hired to work on games, everyone always asks for the obvious thing. If you're making a game in a particular setting, they want the music that fits that setting. This particular game is inspired partially by the Russian Revolution, and so we went way back to super obscure stuff, and we're going for like music just. For the 4 different factions, there's an aristocratic faction and a commoners faction, and we're going with crazy like cross-cultural stuff. So we have like a military tango for the military police faction. We have like turn of the century Eastern European like gypsy style music for the commoners, and it's cool stuff. Anyways, go ahead and ready up. And then, so one of the cool things about Tooth and Tail is that if you have played a real-time strategy game and you've been frustrated that you can't play to your style because the game kind of forces you to play to a particular style, you actually get to design your army before the match to fit your play style, or possibly just to counter. If you know your buddy likes to rush you, you can build an army to counter that rush. So this is where you do that. Those are pretty balanced armies. There's no tech trees in the game either, but there are tiers, and so typically you're building your early tiers first, and then your later tiers later. Those are pretty balanced armies. So if you guys do want to go up and hit to battle, it'll start the match.
All right, James, I just moved the computer so that you can see it a little better as well, because it's lag free on our laptop. All right, so James and I actually played this last night against each other. I'm the blue guy on the left. He's the red guy on the right. And we faced off, and I took him down pretty quick. But I'm using a different set now of guys than what basically decimated him before.
Rub it in, Tom.
So at the start of the match, the interaction with the economy is super simple. You just press A or the spacebar to build a farm around your windmill. But management of your economy, when you start to get good at the game, gets very complex. Because you have to know when to expand to a new windmill. You got to know when to build armies versus building more farms. And one of the things that's different about Tooth and Tail than other real-time strategy games is that we focus a lot on selling existing structures. You get full value back. So that plays a lot into freeing up your economy to be able to do other things. So given that you're the flag bearer, at the start of the match, you are responsible for scouting. You can't just send an SCV off to go do it. So in between you're building those farms, you're scouting, and then you can hold the X button on the controller or the R button on your keyboard in order to warp back to any of your windmills.
Or you can just screen cheat.
You can just exactly.
Is that like how do you feel about screen cheating in this game? I gotta ask.
I mean, we have you can also play online, so screen cheating is not an issue when you're playing online, obviously. But dude, just punch the guy sitting next to you if you want to.
Wait, I'm the guy sitting next to him though, so don't say that.
So yeah, we've done a lot with the HUD to try and make sure that the mini map is off in a corner that prevents you from accidentally screen cheating. And you can also play 2v2. You can even play 2v2 split screen. You can play 2v2 in which you have 2 local players and you're playing against other people online. You can match up against 2 other people online. So we're really trying to make it super easy to build, to get matches going. You'll notice that blue right now has a couple. So you have those warrens, and those warrens produce units. In fact, both players have units. If you pull your right trigger, it will pull your army to wherever your current position is.
Right now, they're following me along.
Yeah, and if you know your StarCraft parlance, holding the trigger is a move command, so they won't attack the enemy. Releasing the trigger is an attack move command, so they will move to that position and attack things they see along the way. Mm-hmm. So that's basically how we've sort of, and the fact that we've really centered the game on the commander means that you're not constantly scrolling around the map in order to do things in 3 different places at once. So putting up defenses is actually a really important part of the game because you can't always be in the right place to defend yourself, and that's actually part of the strategic quality of the game, that you have to manage your time as a commander, where you are and what your information is.
It feels, oh god, there are squirrel armies right there. It feels a lot like StarCraft when you're playing it.
So those squirrels are actually a pretty good counter to your falcons, but you had a big enough force that you're kind of ripping through them. And falcons but they'll probably get torn up by that.
Oh man,
that turret. The turrets are defensive turrets, of course, are typically really good.
Retreat.
So at this point, this is the point in the match when you might start thinking about getting a new windmill because your farms only last for 5 minutes apiece. But it's a game of chicken too, because the guy who invests in economy at this point of the game is not investing in his army.
Right.
So typically games last 5 to 12 minutes, and this is great. You found a weak point that is not well defended. It's this
son of a.
That our forces are under attack is so reminiscent of Warcraft 2.
Yeah, we're just starting to cast for our voiceovers. So this is all the audio is done by Power Up Audio, who did Crypt of the Necrodancer, Darkest Dungeon, Towerfall. So they really know what they're doing.
Dang, those mortars are long range.
Yeah, they are. They can't hit your air though. So your falcons are good.
They're protected.
Good for hitting the ferrets if you can isolate the ferrets.
Cool.
You can if you highlight a unit on your bar at the bottom, pulling left trigger will pull only that unit. So say you want to sneak around back with just your falcons, you can do that.
Right, and that's so for those of us just joining us too, I'm blue, James is red, and we are playing split screen. This is just we're sitting next to each other.
Damn it.
Yup. Yup.
That stupid Falcon Rush you did.
It is the Zerg Rush of this game. Have you found a strategy yet? Because you've said you've been playing the game for almost a year and a half now in open development. Have you found strategies that are like the Zerg Rush of Tooth and Tail?
There certainly are times when there's a meta, but we've focused almost our entire, as far as balance development goes, on making sure that we reward improvisation and creativity and unpredictability over practice strategies and a meta.
Gotcha.
Meta is a bad word to us.
Okay.
And so if you know what the opponent is going to do, there's a lot of stuff that's like a hidden hand in this game. And we like to compare to poker a lot because you've got cards in your hand and you don't know, for instance, what the enemy's units are until they pop out, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the hidden hand. And so you're having to kind of read their behavior. Maybe, did I scout if you scouted the fact that he built a windmill earlier than he should have, like that's the time to invest in a bunch of very fast attack forces and try and punish his expand. That kind of thing. So there's a lot of hidden information. This is actually a replay of the match itself, so you can see.
From my perspective.
Yeah, you can switch.
It's from his
camera
perspective.
around
No.
and everything.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
and you can save
speed
the
up, hit
replay
the
as well.
back button to. Yep, you can save your replays. The back button will make it go at double speed. So you can actually, if you play online, you can try and see what it is that your opponent did right. You can also join in progress with games that are already in progress.
So there's me running around, and there's James. Mm-hmm. Where did James go?
So I'll tell you what went wrong here. I think James built an early windmill, and you just built a whole bunch of offensive forces.
Yeah.
So James is building guys.
Ideally,
you can't sell windmills. It's the only thing you can't. You can't sell windmills. So you can't sell farms.
James actually put his guys down before I did.
He did, but then he didn't attack with them. So typically, if you're gonna invest in offense, you
should be going.
Might want to use it.
Okay, I was setting them up as like defense because yesterday he rushed me right away, and I wanted people to respond.
Yeah. See, there goes the windmill.
You went the windmill in the towers, and meanwhile I was building like falcons and then these barbed wire things.
Head right my direction.
I don't know if you saw, I completely blocked off that front entrance to my base with barbed wire. I have no idea if that was a good idea or not, but I was enjoying doing it. Yeah, so there's your little squirrel army.
So and he's already investing in farms. So he spent 180 food so far on those 2 farms plus that windmill, and I think he even builds a 3rd windmill over there to the right.
That was later on. Yeah.
This was that first little skirmish.
Mm-hmm. And you had the right unit counter, but he had more units than you in general. So scouting is a really big deal here.
But then your turrets totally pulled me off.
Yeah, I was hoping.
The turrets were great. The ferret was probably a bad investment because ferrets don't hit air, and they're not great
Okay, I wasn't
squirrels.
sure. All right.
No, I mean, what's cool about it is, there's obviously a learning curve.
Right.
You can't get away from the idea that when you have different unique units, there's going to be a learning curve to use the units. But in order to play the game, just the basics of how to play the game, it all comes instantly, basically.
Oh yeah, I mean
there's no learning curve on the basics.
That's pretty simple. I learned a lot of things not to do just in like 7 minutes or something.
Yeah, there's my wall of barbed wire. Your ferrets, though, for a while took me out.
Well, they were good against those groundies, I guess, for a bit.
But then I came around the side.
Yeah.
Oh. So you were talking about not wanting the meta, right? And is part of that, as part of that, can you talk a little bit about the levels? Because the levels are completely procedurally generated, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is an interesting choice to me because when you look at something like StarCraft or other RTSs, the levels kind of become characters in themselves. Yeah. Everyone knows that one map. Everyone knows this one strategy on this one point. And you specifically didn't want that to happen?
Yes, very specifically. In Monaco, the guard patrols and the coin positions are randomized. And the reason that we did that is that for speedrunners, the last thing that I wanted was for the game to be a test of your muscle memory.
Gotcha.
I wanted the game to be a test of how well you can react to the systems and improvise and be creative given new inputs all the time. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to have the same thing here, that we don't want you to practice a particular strategy on a particular map and then get good at it and then just do that over and over and over again. Right. We wanted it to be that you get into the map and you're like, I have to assess the situation and play to the map. And it's like, oh my gosh, there's a really open map, or oh, I've got a backdoor, or oh my gosh, my enemy is totally choked. Maybe I can turret contain him. And that's the type of thing that, to me, that's the reason that we have players with 1,000 hours in the game. Not that StarCraft doesn't. StarCraft does as well. But that's the thing that makes us unique. There's a very easy argument to make that for competitive gamers, they want games to be fair. Now, we're not trying to specifically make an esport, but if I can make a comparison to Hearthstone shuffles the deck every time. Hearthstone's shuffled deck is our random map.
Okay.
Not only that, you don't know what's in your opponent's hand, in their deck, and that is the fact that you don't, except in split screen, if you're screen cheating, you don't actually know what is in your opponent's army, and you're having to react to things as they come out.
Yeah. I went no flying units this time, by the way, James.
Thanks, buddy.
Okay, I'm green now, too. I switched it up.
So it makes us unique, and we certainly, I recognize that there's absolutely going to be demand for authored maps or consistent maps, and we actually do have an editor, so people will be able to make their own maps and play with symmetrical maps or whatever they can set up whatever they want. We have talked about also adding in options to make to have random maps, but have them be mirror maps or symmetrical maps. We're not there yet. I think at first we're going to just rely on people using the editor in order to craft that kind of experience.
Right.
But another thing is the matches are super short. We're not talking about a half an hour long match here, and so I actually think the game is more fun. Even if I get a bad spawn every now and then, it's more fun for me if I do get a bad spawn every now and then, and if I can try playing from behind. It's more fun than if it's fair every single time, because then I'm gonna get bored, and I'm gonna do the same thing every single time.
Right.
And sometimes you get a great spawn, and it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna punish him so hard, you know. And to me, that's actually what makes the game interesting and replayable.
And so you mentioned esport. Like, do you see this game like fostering a competitive community? If that happened, would you?
The perspective that I take is that you don't, as a small developer, you don't make a game to be an esport. What
right.
You do is Super Smash Brothers, they didn't make it to be an esport. People just loved the heck out of it.
Yeah.
And it became an esport. There are certainly games where they sort of prep it beforehand to be an esport. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make a game that people are really passionate about and want to play in their dorm room, want to play, all the time, or want to play just casually. Maybe want to play at a party with their friends, or with their significant others on the couch, that kind of thing. So we're just trying to make a game that inspires passion.
Cool.
If that turns it into an esport, that's a whole nother deal.
Yeah, that seems to be how the most successful esports kind of do come about as well, is that it's not forced upon, like right. A community is not invented,
Right. Oh dear, lizards.
Gotcha.
What?
Were you holding the trigger? If you hold the trigger, they won't attack.
Oh, son of a bitch. Well, I fucked myself there. All right.
So I want to commentate the game, but I can't because you're both sitting right here.
Yeah.
It's all good.
He knows what I'm doing. I think.
One thing I have noticed is that neither of you have actually explored the whole map, which is one of the things you can do, because using Burrow Home, you can build a windmill in a place that they don't expect. Like, you could build a windmill in that spot that's right next to their base, and as long as they never scout it,
Gotcha.
you can actually just burrow between them, between the windmills, in order to get a sneaky windmill. A lot of the game is really based upon hiding your hand and not denying the scouting opportunities, or keeping them so busy that they don't have time to scout.
I'm just gonna try to build up a little bit more here. I haven't ever been able to see these badgers, even though I've been... Alright. I mean, not alright. I'm not doing anything, James. This is too intense, man. For those of you just joining us again, I'm green. James is red.
Yeah, and this is tooth and tail. Oh, look at that. But you might get punished. There are skunks in there that are doing a dot damage. They launch their own farts and
Of course.
Oh man,
and
that did not go well for me.
Red's got a wolf out, which is a tier 3 unit.
Oh, God.
He'll howl and it buffs the units close to him. It adds like 20 damage to all nearby units, which is a tremendous amount of damage. So the way to take out the wolf is to get him when he doesn't have a big army at his side. You want to try and get that wolf when he's alone, when he's isolated.
Oh, my troops are now all they cost so much.
Yeah, so the tier 1s cost 20 apiece. You can, if you want to free up your economy a little bit, you can always sell warrens.
Right.
If you're feeling like your economy is sludgy, sell the ones that you don't think are good. Snakes are really good against tier 3s because they one shot will poison and guarantee kill any unit. It does 1 damage per second, so it'll be a slow kill. But if you can poison that wolf, there you go. You poisoned him. So
Fuck.
Yeah, the landmines, baby.
aha, yeah, he's got a whole field of landmines here that you just walked right into.
Landmines.
Again, it's a hidden hand thing.
Son of a bitch.
Uh-oh.
It's over.
Oh! Boom.
God damn it. This game.
Yes, the snakes and the skunks. This game doesn't speak to you, James.
I'm just not good at it, obviously.
Dude, 2 losses. 2 losses is nothing.
This is the 3rd.
After last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, your farm's all dried up. Is that what you're
I forgot.
saying? So they only last 5 minutes.
5
so
minutes
you're
apiece.
forced to expand at a certain point. Mm-hmm. There we go.
Landmines.
That'll do it.
GG. I want to watch that happen.
I saw you pick them, but then I was like, oh, he didn't put them down yet.
Look at that brutal loss. That green.
Oh.
That's where you walked into his landmines. You see that?
Yeah.
That part where you just hit the floor in army value.
Here, so let's jump up to that actually real quick because I want to show you what I was doing.
And the landmines can't be seen. Once they're built, they take 10 seconds to build. The opponent can't see or attack them. The only way to destroy them is to walk over them.
Right. And it's interesting, though, because playing split screen, this game has such a different dynamic to it. Mm-hmm. Because if he knows I have landmines, then he can, like, plan around them.
Right.
It seems like it's almost just two, like, distinct ways to play the game rather than, like,
yeah,
a right way and
I
a
don't
wrong
like
way.
dislike that at all. It's kind of an interesting way to.
I guess it depends on how
Yeah.
you, as far as how you play as split screen. If you can keep your eyes away from
Sure.
your opponent's side, you can prevent some of that. Certainly,
Right.
there is some, there's some accidental screen cheating.
So here's you were building the lizards, right?
Lizards and my wolf.
And then
I
this
was
is
hoping
when
my
I
wolf
started.
would fuck you up.
I think this is when I started planting mines at some point around here. I built a skunk and a viper, and then here. So I was just planting mines
you were just laying
all
them
up in this
down.
path.
And those mines are deadly.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're pretty cheap.
And this
Yeah,
was the
very-
unfortunate
yeah.
fight where you were holding right trigger, so none of your
Yeah.
guys were attacking.
Damn it.
So my little peanut guns were just like destroying it. I guess they're not peanut guns; they're just real guns, aren't they? See, and I laid down way more mines.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's it. That's all she wrote. I guess that would. It's more incentive to scout to find alternate routes then too.
Yep. And,
There's some more mines.
Jesus.
I can't wait to see you walk through them.
Why do we have to relive it?
So this is you had a wolf up before though, because I think I tried to attack you one more time
yeah, the wolf.
and got cleared out.
I was hoping my strategy was like just pump out an army.
You did.
And
You did exactly the right thing.
Yeah, get the wolf to-
Except for that field of landmines.
Yeah.
That landmine field just wrecked.
Here are you with the wolf.
He
Oh, that
looks
wolf
cool.
is
I like
awesome.
him.
That wolf is great. And I attacked and just got torn apart.
Yep.
Like I had one squirrel and a toad left.
It's got
right.
some good animations.
This is where it probably would have been to your advantage to try and be a little bit aggressive and press the attack.
Just keep going.
Run out of
Yeah.
farming.
But again,
So
the
you
mines
started
were all
building
there,
on that farm.
and I
love the wolf just yelling through the megaphone.
His animations are fun.
Okay, and because I knew there was no way to get, or not, it was a very long about way to
It's
get
kind of
there.
a crowded map. There was a different way to, yeah.
So, mines, and all of your troops were basically dead.
Well,
by the
yeah,
time you
I
got
was
there.
like, all right, here it goes, and I'm like rolling up, and I look behind me, my army's gone. I was like, no! What did you do, Tom? And then it was over.
The game is in development, so there are some other issues. Like right now, audio is really only focused around player one. So some of the audio cues it can be a little confusing in split screen right now because audio only comes from one side. I want to play you though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I want.
I think we have time for that.
I want a piece.
It'll probably be over quick at this.
Yeah, I'm not. I'll
tell you what. Well, I'll handicap myself by playing on the laggy screen.
Okay.
On the stream lag.
Ooh.
I'll take that. I'll take that. That one.
You know,
I'll go
Tom is known for beating developers at their own
right.
games. So.
Bring it.
Am I?
We got.
Oh, I guess Divinity.
I have
Yeah.
about a 1 second lag here. Does it seem about like 1 second?
It's about 1 second.
It seems about that. Maybe like slightly less, but an annoying amount.
It's enough.
Regardless.
It's
It's
definitely
enough.
An annoying amount. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. No, I beat Sven, the CEO of Larian at Divinity Original Sin 2 when they were demoing it a while back, and I was pretty proud. That was a good moment for me. I think I'm gonna change up what
this strategy. See who's
Yeah.
doing it. Okay.
Do you want me to tell you what I'm doing?
Yeah. Give
Okay,
us.
so I've got tier 1. I'm gonna go squirrels just in case. I'm not looking at a screen. I'm not screen cheating. I'm gonna go squirrels because they're ranged units. Just in case he goes air, I want to be able to have. I want to have an easy anti-air option. I'm also gonna go moles. Moles, you don't have to build a warren. You can build them individually. They're really expensive. But what you can do with them is you can build them just in the backfield. You can build them anywhere you want, or because you can build them directly. If you build up a big bank of food because you haven't been paying attention to your economy, you can dump it all into a whole bunch of moles all at once. We call it a mole dump, and then just like roll, you know. Tier 2. Since I have the squirrel, I'm not gonna go falcon. I'm just gonna go chameleon because they're hard hitting and they stealth. You don't see them until they're right next to you. Tier 3, I'm gonna go fox. I've been really enjoying fox. They're weak. They're a glass cannon.
Snipers,
but they're snipers. Yeah, they have extreme range. And I like me some defensive structures. So I'm gonna go with the. I'm gonna throw the landmines back in his face. I'm gonna get my. You know what? I've already got one sniper. Let's do. Yeah. You know what? I'll go owl instead of fox. They're like a brood lord. They puke up little mouse paratroopers.
That's amazing.
And we'll go with a balloon sniper. So just to be sure, do you have at least one fairly cheap ranged unit on your side?
Yes, I do.
I do have a couple of flyers on my team.
Okay. No, I mean I can say what I have now.
No, I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I want to beat you in the most humiliating fashion possible.
Oh man, this is nerve-wracking. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh my God.
You all right, Tom?
This is like the drunk driving level in GTA. 1 second lag.
You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
So I'm scouting right now. I put down one farm and I'm going straight for the scout just to get a lay of the land. I can't even see my build palette because our faces are actually over.
Oh no!
Down there.
Oh, no. Maybe Anthony can fix that real quick.
No, it's fine. This is yet another
Just
handicap that I'm
move
happy
the
to
camera
have.
of us up a little so he can actually see what he's building. We gotta make it at least a little fair,
It's
right?
fair. It's fair. It's fair. I'm not concerned. There's no concern here.
Oh, whoa, moles! Moles!
We were Tom and I were speaking after we played yesterday. There's probably a lot of really awesome shorthand you guys have for certain strategies.
Yeah, we call this one the mole dump.
the mole dump.
Oh no!
Actually, sorry, that's a mole rush. The mole dump is the one you do at the end of the game.
Okay, where you just load them all up with all
Yeah.
your stored food.
Yeah, exactly.
You got mole
Man,
rush.
you you spent that whole time explaining all of the troops to me just so you could mole rush me and nothing else, right?
It's a minor setback. It's a minor setback.
You're all right, Tom.
You're fine.
Uh-huh.
Let's see what Tom's
You
doing.
look perfectly healthy.
Yeah. All right.
I really don't know what I'm doing is the problem.
You just won 3 games in a row.
It's true.
All right.
You guys ever play read Redwall?
Yes,
Is a
we
question.
actually the portrait artist. I'll show you some of the unit portraits. The portrait artist we for the game we found on DeviantArt. He was oh dear. I was a little late to get back to my base to start building units. Wow, he's coming back for my Warrens. Wow.
That does not work at all. That did not work at all.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
your
lot
base
of
is so
pigs
well
to run.
defended.
Aw.
Did you see that? You're on this little like thing. You're up in like a. You're in like a completely protected area. That's so OP.
I feel terrible for you.
Man, I'm gonna get dumped on right now.
Mole dumped
Maybe.
on.
Maybe.
See, James made me look good. I'm not. I'm clearly not.
There's room to grow.
Yeah,
Sure.
a lot of room.
But you were saying the deviant art.
Oh yeah, we found
portrait?
like the top deviant. Like we just searched Redwall fan art to
Yeah.
try and find a
Oh,
portrait
nice.
artist for the game, and we found a guy on DeviantArt that was just is awesome. He just killed it in terms of.
Oh, the mines!
Oh, that's a shame.
No, the mines!
Taste your own medicine, Tom.
Oh God, this is terrible. Now I know how you felt. My stuff just left, just disappeared.
It's gone.
It's just gone,
gone.
man. It's all gone.
Ay, ay, ay.
They destroyed it all.
I was just gonna say, what
Damn
drew
dirty
my
mice.
eye to this game in the first place was just the art, and having, I think a huge generation of people who are now adults read
Right.
Redwall growing up, and
Right.
it's just cool to see.
Yep.
I think animals with weapons is always cool. Timeless. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we tried to do is like take a game world or take the world of Redwall and say what would Redwall look like if you set it in like World War I when like things get
Yeah.
really ugly for humanity.
Yeah, you're speaking my language.
It's a transition point in history where things just get ugly, and so that's like it's kind of like you imagine turn of the century. You imagine like factories and butcher shops and stuff like that, and that's. And then you throw Russia into the mix. When I was researching this game, my sister's a history buff, and I said to my sister, I want to make a game about the Russian Revolution, but I don't want it to be, or a game that is sort of themed to the Russian Revolution, but I don't want it to be like dismal. Is there any? Do you know of any books or
You burrowed away.
do you know of any books or movies that take a lighthearted approach to the Russian Revolution? And I think she laughed for like 15 minutes.
A
It's like,
lighthearted approach.
you have picked the wrong war to make it if you want a lighthearted approach. Do you know what's about to come next? Do you have any idea what's about to come next?
It's getting scary up for you, Tom. I'm just gonna say I'm getting worried.
I just heard an explosion, and I think like all of my guys died.
Oh, did you hit a landmine?
I have no idea.
Oh no.
Our forces are under attack.
Oh
I-
God.
I love that VO.
The mole dump.
The mole.
Oh, that is a lot of moles. Oh, that is so many moles.
Got some communities
last
and
words.
some squirrels. I mean, if you can take them out with your falcon, but you can't.
Damn.
Haha, I have somewhere else.
You do. It's true. It's true. And you might take out all. That's a lot of moles if you take them all out with your
Our
falcons.
forces are under attack.
Where's it at? Where's it at? Where are you hiding?
No.
Oh, there we go.
No.
There's no one there.
Moles.
Goodbye.
Moles.
Bye.
That is a lot of moles you made.
Sound like you're having a waking nightmare, Tom.
I am. Oh, that is so many more moles being made. Oh, jeez. I got
Someone rip
wrecked.
out these sound clips. I'm loving this.
Oh, I got wrecked. All right.
Okay, so despite the fact that we just had a few matches in which one player was humiliated, I don't want to give the impression that this is a game in which that people well, the thing we're trying to solve is the idea that people are intimidated to play the game, right?
Right.
And so part of, we're trying to build up this whole sort of infrastructure around the game with a campaign, with the ability to spectate games in progress, and also just the short matches are really intended to complement the idea that it's okay to lose. Mm-hmm. And it's okay to lose because that's the way you learn to play the game.
And it's incredibly easy to pick up too.
Yeah, and with the ranked mode, of course you're going to be playing against people that are close to your skill level as well. So yeah, it's definitely just the game is really intended to be a game that there's no way you can entirely solve the idea that with a competitive game, some people just are going to be this. I'm intimidated to go down and play pickup basketball if I see a bunch of 6'4" guys on the court.
Yeah.
There's no question about that, but that's definitely a different experience than if you are someone says, "Well, do you want to play in the NBA?" I'd be "No, I'll get crushed." But if I go down to the pickup basketball court and I'm standing outside the fence and I'm "Yeah, I can hold my own against these guys," and I'll just play, and it's fun, that's really the goal.
I really enjoyed still losing, but really now look at this starting spot.
It's pretty good.
You're on high ground. You had only one spot to get into that high ground, so you just put your stuff there, and I tried to come kill it, and there was nothing I could do.
Are there units that can shoot at
There
elevate?
are. Air is a great unit. Because air gives you visibility up to the high ground, right?
Uh-huh.
The other thing that you did have a bad spawn because you don't have a good natural. I don't have a great natural either. I have that one just to the south of my base.
Yeah.
But it does require me to go significantly around. Plus, that's a low ground base, so you could always fire at it from that higher ground.
Right.
As far as map understanding goes, if I were on your side in this match, I would have said, I probably would have said to myself, I'm going to have a hard time getting to my expand, so I need to probably try and finish this game early and play a pressure game.
Right.
But I threw that back in your face with that early mole rush, which of course you've never seen, so you didn't see it coming. But I mean, this start. You know what you didn't do? This is something we've done some new stuff that I think is a little bit confusing. You didn't rebuild those 2 pigs that I destroyed with my moles.
Oh.
See that wheat there?
Yeah.
That's because I killed the pigs, but it's so you had a hamstrung economy basically the entire game.
Okay.
Hamstrung.
Ha. Well, I'm glad to know that it was only mostly my entire fault.
I mean, that's the sort of thing that we're still in development. We're noticing new player behaviors that we're gonna have to fix.
Yeah.
That's one of them. That it's just confusing. You see the wheat.
Oh, you had chameleons.
Oh, I didn't even see.
You had the invisible guys. Of course, you didn't even
did.
see it. They were invisible.
They're invisible. Yep.
Well, I really enjoy this. When do you think we can expect?
Later this year. We don't have a date on it, but the plan is for later this year.
Cool.
Neat.
And like you said, it's obviously pretty far along and a lot of fun, but still work to be done, as you would say.
Yep.
I'm excited to play more of it. I gotta my new life mission is just beat Tom once.
See, that's what that's what I want. I want it to be just we have a couple of guys in our community that are just they're college kids and they were in the middle of finals and they're we want to take a break. And they went and played an hour tooth and tail just to because it's buddies. I did the same thing back when I was in college with Red Alert. Me and my college roommate would just go and blow off some steam with Red Alert, and there was never this there wasn't a meta to Red Alert.
It was just Red Alert.
You're only playing against your roommate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can just be, you can just do crazy stuff. You can experiment, and you can even play 2v2 against people online, and that's the goal. This is really more of a Rocket League feel than a StarCraft feel. I hope.
Tyler just started #BeatTom in the chat as well, so there you go.
Thank you, Tyler.
That just happened, Tyler. Let's take some quick questions. We don't have too much time for questions because we wanted to keep playing and showing off tooth and nail. But if you do have any questions, tag us with @PCGamer in the Twitch chat, and we will take them either for Andy about tooth and nail or
Tail.
tooth and tail. I'm sorry, I keep
That's
saying
okay.
nail. Tooth and tail with a T, not an N.
It's play on words.
And we'll try to grab them. Also, if you just have any questions about GDC or what we want to see there or anything happening this week, just let us know, and
Yeah.
we'll try to get to them.
The next game from the makers of Morocco.
Did you get that a lot?
We did get that.
You Morocco instead of Monaco?
Why did you decide to set your game in Morocco?
Oh no,
Oh no. Yay.
that is a good question. MacJin says for Andy, how does your face feel?
Now, the MacJin has over 1,000 hours in Tooth and Tail. He is probably undisputably our best player.
Okay.
He is. He does also tend to choke when playing on stream against me, so he has a giant choker. And I did at one point ask him repeatedly how his face felt after a horrendous loss. And he's been trying to get back at me ever since.
Well, you've done it live on stream, MacJin. Hasmuffins asks, does Andy, the founder of Pocketwatch, have a Pocketwatch?
I do.
There you go.
There you go.
I have a bunch.
Is that where the name came from?
No, the name, it's interesting. The name is actually related to our game design philosophy, really. The idea that, like, on its surface, a pocket watch is something that is simple. To read it, it's just two hands, and it's very, very simple, but it's driven by a complex machinery.
Oh.
And, like, that's how Monaco is. You know, you have one thumbstick and an oh shit button. and Tooth and Tail is a real-time strategy game boiled down to just a few buttons.
Yeah.
But the machinery that drives that is something that is complex enough that it seems like a life form more than a machine.
Cool.
So that's
I dig it.
Yeah. Wake asks, have you guys played Paragon? And also Borrowed Time TM says,
Yeah.
Paragon hot or not? James, you got to play it, right?
I mean, I'm probably not the right person to talk about Paragon. It's a MOBA game from Epic, third-person controls, a la Smite, but you can look vertically and jump around. It's pretty. I think it's another pretty good-looking MOBA. And if that's your jam, if you like your MOBA's pretty and shiny, you'll probably enjoy that game. I personally don't like MOBAs too much, so it didn't really sell me. But hey, yeah.
There you go. I think I'm going to try Paragon because it's going to be free to play when it comes out.
I'm curious to know more what you would think about it.
I want to try it, but from what I've seen so far, it by no means is making me jump out of my chair want to try it. I just definitely want to play it to see what the deal is, and it could be fun. I don't think it looks bad by any means.
No.
Subscriber JBJ Blaze asks, will Tooth and Tail be multiplayer only or will it have a single-player campaign?
There is a single-player
There is a campaign, so
Yeah.
talk a little bit more. I know you talked a little while we were playing, but I probably missed some of it. But how extensive do you see the campaign, or do you see it as this more thing to teach players?
No, it's the campaign. The plan is to have it be a short campaign. It's not going to be a long campaign. But like with Monaco, what we're hoping for is that the campaign is something that is the mechanics in the campaign will be systems driven, meaning that it will feel different. It will feel like a match at the same time as being steeped in the story and the lore of the world. So you can get both, get into the story, get to know the characters, but at the same time have it feel like something that you can speed run, or you can play with your friends, or you can play over and over, and it's different every single time you play it. It's that's another way in which players tend to want to play single player before they play any multiplayer. And we're not just using it as a springboard. We do want it to be a compelling thing all on its own. And I think the game world is really interesting. So I think it will be that. But yeah, we're trying to make a very, very dense, extremely dense, short single player campaign, and then hopefully, like we did with Monaco, add free updates to the game after launch to extend that.
Cool. And so I guess I'll ask from that question then. So you want to do like free updates, but also like how do you, is that how you see the game primarily expanding after launch, or do you see like DLC expansions or that sort of stuff?
We'll have to see.
Cool.
We more than doubled the amount of content in Monaco after launch. It started with 2 very long campaigns. The first campaign was about a 10-hour campaign. The second one, honestly, was like maybe a 30-hour campaign. If you hadn't played it before, it was hard.
Yeah.
And then we added 2 long-form campaigns and 1 short-form campaign, plus a zombie mode that allowed you to play the whole game over again with totally different enemies. So, like, we added Monaco. If you consume all of Monaco, if you really like Monaco, we have some big fans. Like I just found out the designer of Roll for the Galaxy. Do you know that game? It's a board game.
No.
It's based on Race for the Galaxy. He has 1,500 hours in Monaco.
That's a lot.
Wow.
This is like a top 50 game on Board Game Geek. So it's
That's an honor.
yeah, it's really super cool. Yeah, so we will. I don't know yet exactly how we're going to be expanding on it. We do plan to have some free component to the game, but it won't be a free-to-play game in the sense of everyone is basically free and you're buying hats or anything like that. That's
Right.
definitely not the intention.
Cool. Yeah, no, so that's I knew you guys supported Monaco after development, but I
Yeah.
didn't realize it was that extensive. So
Yeah,
that's very
back in.
impressive.
Yeah. It's funny, Monaco, like, we got great reception. We got great reviews. We've sold over 1.5 million copies.
Wow.
Wow,
It
that's
probably, it didn't, and it's been hugely popular on Twitch, but it didn't quite, no one knows that because for whatever reason, it didn't quite catch the zeitgeist or something of the moment. And I think most people don't realize actually how successful and popular and passionate people are about the game.
Yeah.
It didn't sort of ignite the world in the same way that Super Meat Boy or Gone Home or something like those types of games did, because they spoke to a particular moment in time. Monaco is just this cool little toy that like a lot of people really, really like, but it didn't make everyone talk in the same way.
Right. Well, I think we're just about out of time. We actually went a little over so that you could see everyone, or see Andy kick my butt there at the end with moles.
It was nice.
It was
good. It was very good.
satisfying for everyone, I hope, at home, because it was not satisfying for me. No, it was a lot of fun. I am very much looking forward to seeing Tooth and Tail evolve and eventually release, because I've had a lot of fun with what I've played over the last day or so.
Cool. Thank you.
And thank you very much, everyone, for watching. If you are watching on Twitch, consider following, subscribing, all that. If you're watching on YouTube, consider subscribing there. If you're watching on or listening on iTunes, please give us a review if you like the show. All of those things and more help us out. Once again, thank you to James Davenport for joining us as always, and Andy for being here as our guest, man.
Yeah, thank you. I had a blast.
Yeah, we had
too.
fun having you on, except for that last little bit at the end there. But otherwise,
That was the best part.
how does my face feel? Oh God. But yeah, thank you, and good luck. I hope you have a good rest of your GDC.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Actually, I almost missed this. I'm sorry. We'll be moving to Wednesdays next week. So if you are a regular watcher of the show, starting next week, we will be going on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time rather than Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So don't show up here in this channel at Tuesday at 1, because there will be nothing but silence. And if you are a listener or watcher on YouTube or iTunes, then that means you'll have to wait until Wednesday to get the show starting next week. But once we start Wednesdays, we'll be going back to a normal schedule on Wednesdays, and just instead of Tuesdays. So thanks very much, and we will see you all next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific time right here at twitch.tv/PCGamer. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.